Welcome to another episode of the Total R&B Podcast. My name is Loreena, and today I am joined by a Toronto singer who mixes afropop and R&B. She has graced many stages across Toronto, like Afrofest, New School Rules in the Netherlands, and on July 30th, she will be a part of Honey Jam's 30th anniversary. So welcome to the podcast, Rachelle Show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for taking time out to speak with me today. As I mentioned to you before, probably plenty of times, I'm a fan of your music. So this is really special for me to have you on the podcast. And I
Thank
always
you.
started off the same way. If you could tell me, what is your first memory of R&B music? What comes to mind when I say that to you?
I think my earliest memory is in my bedroom on a either school morning or Friday night watching BET. Me and my sister shared a room. So BET would be playing on the TV and it was Destiny's Child that I was obsessed with. I think it was Lose Your Breath that was popular at that time, or it's the first time I heard it. So that's my earliest memory of R&B.
I love that. And did you get to watch the BET Awards? Because they did like a celebration of like 106 in Park, which I thought was really dope.
Yes, I saw that in A. Marie. That was the big shock for me. I love that.
Yeah, no, I love that they had A Marie and Maya and Ashanti, like all the girls, the R&B girls. So that was really cool. And I love that A Marie is back. So she's been doing all these shows, coming out with new music. So it's really exciting. I love that what they did. I thought that was like the best BET Awards that we had in like a long time.
I think so too. You definitely have to bring the nostalgia back because it all means something. I feel like we all have a core memory in BET in general, just as a society, and you have to incorporate the oldies.
No, of course. But let's speak about you and your career. So I did like my research, and you always say that you started a bit later when it comes to being a professional singer. So what pushed you to start?
Yeah, I felt it's that kind of conversation where people are like, oh, there's people who started when they were 11 or 12 and popped off when they were 16 and 18 and so on and so forth. And it's that conversation around age and if it's too late in our industry. But I feel like in recent years, that has been changed for sure. There's a lot of examples of that. For me, how I got my start is when my dad passed away, when I was 11, I kind of had that fire lit under my bum where I was like, oh, like I want to carry this forward. I want to carry on his legacy. And I was in the middle of that. I was going through grief. I was also going through life. I was in high school. I had to enter high school and figure out, what do you want to do with your life? And I feel like I fell into that society norm of like, just pick something and go to school. And I picked something that was I thought was kind of close to music, but practical at the same time. So I chose business. But I remember as I was in class, my mind would always wander off. And I feel like God just aligned certain steps in my life and brought me out of it and into the path that I was meant to be on. So that's why I say I feel like I started later because I didn't put my effort fully into it until I was in my early 20s. So yeah.
But like you said, like God puts things in your path. You always do things. There's always a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So I think you're starting right on time. You're killing it anyways, building your career. So it's all working out wonderfully for you. And speaking of business, you taking business in school, has that helped you in any way with your career?
I want to say yes, but no. Um, I feel like even if I like outside of music, if someone were to ask me what I wanted to be, I say I want to be a CEO. I want to run my own business. I feel like there's a lot of aspects of that could have been helpful, but it also built me up to just climb the ladder and not exactly where I wanted to be. So I found myself outside of school. I definitely think I found my identity in who Rachelle is by just trusting me.
No, I love that. And then, so for you as Rachelle Show, the brand, what have you learned so far building your brand as a professional artist?
I think the biggest one, and I've actually just recently come into this, is who cares? Just do it. You know, it's so simple, and like we can, especially me, I can hyper focus on, no, it has to be perfect. It has to be like this. It has to look like this. Oh, but this is what they're doing. I want to align with that, you know. But like, who cares? Because that can stop you in your tracks for a long period of time. And it's just not worth it to get in your head that much. So I think a lot of self development, reading books, and just listening to people who I want to be like in general, outside of music, everything, just humans that are elevated. So yeah, I don't know if that
Do you have a
answers.
book that you would recommend, or a podcast or something?
Jay Shetty, I was on Jay Shetty a lot the last few years. A book. There's a few books that helped. It was The Compound Effect. Forgive me, I don't know who the writers, the authors
We
are.
could Google, or I could put it at the bottom.
Okay, awesome. So The Compound Effect, Think and Grow Rich,
Mm.
and How to Win Friends and Influence People. Those are the three hitters. Oh, one more that really helped me. It's Chris Garner's. Um, it's getting away from me, but it is my favorite book that I've read. uh, it wasn't The Pursuit of Happiness, but I think
Okay,
it was Start Where You Are.
start where you are.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to add some of these onto my reading list. I have like a goal of reading like 50 books this year, so
Ah!
any recommendations helps.
Oh, please do. Those are great books.
Okay, yeah, definitely gonna do that. And then, so now with your music, we could see clips online, we could see clips on YouTube. Hopefully, you've seen her perform live, but you always bring the energy. You know, you connect with the crowd. You have background dancers sometimes. Like, it's a full-on production. So, where did you learn that? Is that something from like watching your father? Like, where did that come from?
I never actually got to watch my father on stage. I just heard him in the house. But
Okay.
now hearing stories about him, a lot of what I do on stage is what he did. So I'm
Mm,
like, oh, maybe it's hereditary. But a lot of it came from watching BET, watching the Beyoncés on stage, studying that art, you know, and just connecting with people. I don't think I've watched too many performances in person at that point in my life when I did start, but I was obsessed with just watching someone like Beyonce put on a whole production. I just wanted to um, it to feel as big. But then as I started performing, I was like, I want to feel connected to people because, you know, we're all, no one's bigger than anyone, no one's more important than anyone else. Music is about connection and sharing your heart. So I learned that as I kept on performing.
yeah. Well, like I said, your performances, it's like a whole production. Like, you don't always see that sometimes with artists that are just starting out or that are rising. You know, it kind of comes like through time, but I just feel like you put on like a really great performance all the time. So if you haven't seen her live, definitely check it out. You do have some performances coming up, like Honey Jam's 30th anniversary that's happening July 30th at Massey Hall in Toronto. So what can you tell us about your performance or about the night?
The night, from what I've seen so far and what I've heard, I think everyone's in for a treat. I believe it stays true to what the topic is the concert of the ages, you know, inspirations. And I think I'm excited to get on that stage. I'm doing something I haven't done before, at least
Okay.
at a level that I haven't done before. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. That's all I can say.
Yeah, nobody's giving too much away, which I love. They're all keeping it like really like tight and quiet. But I am excited for everybody that's going to hit the stage. I'm excited for Ebony to receive her flowers also,
Yeah.
um, because I think it's just amazing everything that she's doing for women in music. And I want to know a little bit about your experience in Honey Jam. So, what was it like auditioning for Honey Jam?
That whole process, I think that just like God aligns your steps in very specific ways. I think this was a great, I call it a crash course into doing what I do now. I think the support that you receive off rip, I didn't expect anything going into it. I just knew that it's what people did. And aligning myself with Honey Jam was the best decision I've made, especially as a woman in our industry. There's a lot of protective layers that came with that, a community that came with that, and knowledge that came with that. So working with someone like Ebony, who is a go getter, She doesn't take no for an answer. And watching that live and in person is like, oh, so this is how you get what you want. And it was just a great example to follow after, and like the way that she just holds us close and treats us like family. We are a sisterhood for real. So like, I don't even know if I have the words to express my gratitude.
No, of course. She is amazing. And I got the chance to work last year. She did an audition in Montreal. So I got to volunteer to help out. And just to see her in that moment, like putting everything together and making sure like everything is done a specific way so that it's kind of like a seamless experience for everybody was just really cool. And I got to meet a lot of people and just seeing everybody excited and nervous to audition. It was like a really cool experience that I'll always keep with me. For you, though, what was some of the highlights for you when you were a part of Honey Jam?
Um, in the beginning, it was kind of like the crash course and just meeting people that I never expected. Doc McKinney was one of them. He worked with The Weeknd, was involved in the early stages of his career. And then Jesse Reyes, and just like having conversations with people like that who have large success stories, but also are so down to earth and willing to share knowledge and share their space. That was cool. And also was probably one of the first times I felt like, okay, this could actually be a thing for me. And then when Honey Jam, Eb took us to New York, a small group of us, and did a little label tour. And that was like out of this world. This is when I was like, oh, like we're in the Big Apple. This is like when it's going to happen. And yeah, just like core memories like that. I feel like she hits the ball on the nail every single time. She has these grand ideas, and you don't even know what she's up to. Once you get an email from her, it's just respond. You
Yeah.
don't know what it is, just respond. So yeah.
And the thing too is that even after you guys finish your cohort, you are still a part of the Honey Jam family. You're an alum, and there's still opportunities that she's connecting you to. So one of the things that I loved that I saw this year is that you got to meet SZA. You
Yeah.
guys got together. There was a few of you. You guys did a rendition, like a medley of her songs, and then you guys popped out at the concert. And I saw SZA in the photo. So if you could just tell us about that experience.
That I feel like all of us, more than anything, chose to do it because we get to hang out with each other and do this cool thing. And the idea of going to the SZA concert and meeting SZA, that was all a maybe. And then we were just like, you know what? Let's just try this thing. Let's just do it. Ebony's gonna do Ebony's thing in the back, and Ebony did Ebony's thing. We got the backstage passes. Um, Meeting SZA was the bonus, and it felt so real and so attainable. After the fact, it's like, wow. I looked at Ebony. I said, "You really did do what you said you were gonna do," and she said, "Hmm." You know, like that's so Ebony at her core. And but like overall, I think my favorite process through that entire thing is just hanging out with the girls and creating this medley that like takes the cake every single time. There's nothing like a girlhood with zero bias, zero judgment, and just fun, you know.
And how important is that, like, to be in the music industry? Because a lot of times people just think everyone's just competing against each other, but you have, those girls that you can hang out with and do those things with and create those memories. So how important is that for you to have that while you're building your career?
I could see how it can get super lonely without it. Um, and a lot of our rehearsals when we were making this medley, it was 1 hour or 2 hours of girl talk and just like, guys, this is what happened, and just like releasing and like the advice. And then it was probably like 30 minutes to an hour of work. Like, okay, we actually have to work right now. So it was more like a girls' night than it was anything. And like just having the support of people who are like minded, also want to be just loved and heard. Being able to lean on people like without the judgment and bias is so helpful. And there's no such thing as gatekeeping, I believe, in our circles. It just, if you step into it, like you just, there's no such thing. Like it's just like, okay, why don't you try this? This is what I did, and I feel like I have a huge group to lean on, and these girls I hang out with already, or at least when we do honey jam things. So I were like, "Are you doing it?" Yes. Okay. Cool. Let's do it.
No, I think that's so important, and it's also really cool just to see women getting along that's in like the same kind of career path. And gatekeeping, it's so important that people just share information. There's no harm in doing that. I know that's like a big thing where people just don't want to give like their connections or information for whatever reason. But I just feel like everybody should just help each other. Everybody needs to win. There's space for everyone. So I love that
Right.
Ebony has created something where there is that connection, that sisterhood that's happening.
Yeah.
Super dope. Another thing that I love is your music videos that you've put out. So when it comes to music videos, like I'm done, is it you that's coming up with the treatment? Is it the director that you're connecting with? How are those things put together?
I have to throw it over to Mamic Media and Anais Productions. Um, they did two of, I think I have three music videos, if I'm not mistaken. They did two of those. And
Okay.
working with them, I feel like we've created such like a family, where we got each other, but we also create on such a high level. It's amazing. We operate so well together, and the quality, they've just gotten better and better throughout the years. But from the jump, they sat with me. We sat in a room and we were kind of like, what do you want? What do you see? And what they asked me, what do I want? What do I see? I feel like I'm so involved in the process, but I can also lean on them to kind of take lead a lot of the time. So before they do anything, they're like, I want to hear your idea. I want you to sit and imagine yourself, um, imagine the whole video. And then they take it, they write the treatment, and day of, it's just like, all right, boom, let's get it done. And then after the fact, when I get the edits back, I'm like, whoa, like I didn't even see this myself. Like I don't even feel like I have to see the screen sometimes, although you have to. I'm like, no, 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 they got it. It's okay.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
amazing. And didn't one of the videos win an award too? The
yeah.
There was the Brampton Film Showcase.
Oh yes, that one was produced by Kristen Lambie, and the cinematography was done by movie maker Mitch, and then directed by the amazing Kelvin Omari. Sorry about that. He I like this team came together through someone I was working with before. Her name is Cara Lambie. She is like amazing at putting things together, and she just orchestrated this whole thing. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. They're like, "All right, we're gonna do this. Let's do it." That's probably my most produced um, video that I've done, and it just felt so real and so cool just to take let a whole team take the lead. I think they are just like a star team. I don't even know what to say. Like the video speaks for itself. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super dope the videos that you've put out so far. Like I said, it's a production. It's not like most videos that I come across because I'm always looking to see who's releasing what and taking a look at the visuals. And the last one that you put out, it was Stranger, right?
Yes, stranger.
Yes. Super dope video as well. So yeah, keep it up. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Honestly, like my main goal for all of this, especially when I know there's so many people early on in your career, it's a lot of just creatives getting into a room and trying to figure out how to make this project happen, whatever it takes. So every team that I've worked with, they my priority was, one, is everyone having a good time, is everyone okay? I take it the highlight off of myself and I put it on them and just make sure that they feel heard, seen, and thanked, appreciated, none of them have to do this, and I just have to like share my gratitude for how these people have shown up for me. So yeah, I don't know. I every video I want to make sure that it's big, it's great, and also depending on the song, if we're having fun. So yeah,
Of course. Well, shout out to all of them that did the behind the scenes for your video. They're doing an incredible job. So really love that you were able to, say their names, shout them out so people know, and hopefully they can, follow them and discover them as well. I always ask this question too, to especially like Canadian artists, because I still find like our music scene is still developing. Across Canada, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. So, for you, like your opinion, what what would you like to see in the music industry that would help you in your career?
I think I think a shift in the atmosphere would help a lot. I feel like sometimes it can be a crabs in the bucket mentality, gatekeeping mentality. Like you said, like there's room for everybody, but I think there's just there's a higher level. There's a reason why places like America are doing so well in the industry, and there's so much money in it. I feel like there's a different attitude when it comes to it. They crank out songs like it's nobody's business. Um, they're not so hyper focused on splits, although it's very important. They're not hyper focused on much of the paperwork because it's such a relationship business. I was actually having a conversation with a friend yesterday about this. Um, there needs to be a shift in the atmosphere in order for it to work. And like the government funding stuff, that's something that we have going for ourselves, which
Mhm.
is like so helpful. But it's not as accessible as it should be. Maybe there needs to be more funding bodies, but I think a general shift in atmosphere needs to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's just good to know because you're in it, you're doing it. So it's always good to know from the artist's point of view, like what do we need? Because hopefully, too, people are listening, and then they can maybe jump in and provide something that would help wherever the gaps are. So
Yeah.
I feel like always that information is always needed and it's important to know. But yeah, definitely more money for people to be paid properly would be
Yes.
great. Yes.
Exactly. I think also people need to get up and leave. I know that it's kind of a taboo topic, or people just like they want to keep the talent in Canada,
Hmm.
but until we have that shift, and in order to make that shift, we all have to be well traveled and understand um, different countries, different cultures. You know, it goes so well, and I think Drake did a really good job at doing that. He went to go get it, and he brought it back home.
Yeah.
um, you know, and there's so many examples of different cultures that are incorporated in his music, and he was able to lift the cap off of, or the lid off of the pot for what's possible and what's attainable. So and if you stay here and you stay in your hometown, you're only going to be as big as your hometown. You know, you got to leave to really see what's possible.
Yeah, I think there's a in Canada, I feel like there's a cap. There's only like so high that you can go because for some reason they're like blocking I feel the artist from like rising up. So I'm someone that does agree like if you want to obtain certain things, you do have to unfortunately leave. I got into discussions with people that were like, "Well, no, that's the problem. Everybody leaves, so we can't grow." But I'm like, they will not
Yeah.
let grow. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
it's not happening. And I feel like people deserve a lot more, and they deserve to get paid. I feel like it's very limited over here, but that's my opinion. Other people feel otherwise.
I agree
But
with you, girl.
no, but that's what I always say. And I always tell, like, even when I interview American artists, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, Canada has so many amazing singers, so many amazing artists that are super talented that could go toe to toe with like artists in the UK and the US, but we just don't have the platforms and the opportunities like other people to
Yeah.
get that exposure, unfortunately. So I'm always an advocate to like if you can make it out there, if you have an opportunity and the money to go and live out there for a little bit, go and do it. Cause
Hmm.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
with
very
you.
much about that. You also have other performances that are happening. I see that you are at Afro Fest. That is happening July 5th. Am I right?
Yes, you got it July 5th at 9 p.m. Uh, I'm so excited. I think this year is going to be a lot better than last year just because myself, the music and the dancers have grown so much. We all agree that we've gotten better. And especially the 9 p.m. slot is like this is in the middle of the DJ set where the crowd is going to be heh.
Yeah.
So they're like, we gotta bring it. Oh, we gotta bring it. I said, yes, we do. So we have a rehearsal tonight, actually. So I'm excited for that.
And this is a stage that your father once graced too, right? He did Afrofest before. So what does it mean to like do Afrofest and, being invited back again?
Yeah, honestly, they asked me to represent both sides this year, but my dad last year was a real like moment for me because it was my first time, and I was like, oh my goodness, my father did this. I need to make it good. I got in my head about it a little bit, but it's the honor to be able to say that my bloodline came before me and I am now carrying the torch forward. It kind of just goes back to the reason why I started all of this in the first place. Um, and it's I actually used his career as a little bit of a blueprint. Like he did this, he did that, he did this. Okay, how do we take it further? So what do? Hit every point and then take it further. So yeah, I feel like I hit this one.
No, of course. And I know it's a little early to ask this, and it's going to change over time as you grow and experience different things. But right now, because you're carrying on that legacy, the show legacy, so what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be first and foremost that I am probably one of the kindest people with integrity and boundaries that people have worked with and known. Um, I I want to be able to be respected because I did the work. I feel like nothing comes for free. Also, I hold myself to that standard. If I'm going to do it, it's going to have to be 1,000 or nothing. And I put my all into everything that I do. I, beyond any accolade and anything, I will always stand at the core of I just want to be a good person and I want to work hard and I want my work to be a result of my hard work and smart work. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That you summed it right up. So thank you for sharing that. Before I let you go, oh, two things. Well, no, one thing before I get into the game. Is there any new music that's on the way that we should know about?
Yes. I have a few songs that are coming. It's going to be a single run, and I'm excited for you guys to hear what's next because it's going to be bigger and better than anything that you guys have heard. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, perfect. So we have some new music that's on the way that we can look forward to. So we have to stay tapped in to know what's going on with that. And you're always doing like amazing things with I think there was something with Adidas and stuff. So we got to stay locked in to see what you are up to. So before I let you go, I do want to play a game. I want to create your playlist. So I'm going to give you some moods and you're going to give me an R&B song that you feel goes with that mood. Okay.
Oh, okay. I got to pull up my phone for this.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was about to say, open up your Spotify, your Apple, your Tidal, whatever, to get the songs because it's so hard to come up with songs on like the fly. So
Okay.
I get it. So the first one is, give me an R&B song that always puts you in a good mood. So no matter what, as soon as it comes on, you're in a good mood.
Because of You by Usher.
What song would you listen to on a rainy day?
Oh, Hard Place by her.
Okay, yeah. And what song would you play when you're in love? What's on the love playlist? Which is hard. There's so many to choose
Love
from.
playlist. I know. My mind, I something popped up in my head. I'm like, do you want to say that? Brown Eyes by
Oh,
Destiny's Child.
by Destiny. Okay, Destiny's
Yeah.
Child. All right. And then the opposite. What song would you play when going through a breakup? Are we gonna be sad? Are we gonna be angry? Are we gonna be like good riddance? What's the
Oh
song?
man. This is a hard game because there's so many songs to pick from, but I'm just gonna go with what comes to my head first. You said when I'm over it.
Yeah, like when you're going through a breakup, because there's different phases of the breakup. So I don't know which one you want to go to. You can name more than one. What song would you pick?
Going through a breakup. Mad by Neo.
Okay.
Or I'm a Neo girl. You could tell. I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if this
Neil's such a good songwriter.
he is great when I'm going through it. I would say these are my top three that I'm thinking of right now. I don't know if
Okay.
escapism is one of is classified as an R&B song by
We'll
Raye.
put it.
Okay, that Eyes Wide Open by Quan KW.
Oh, yes.
Such a good song. Or I would play, yeah, what I said, Mad.
Mad by Neo. Okay.
Yeah.
What's a song that you can't help but dance to?
Mm.
The record comes on in the club and you can't help but move.
Kaylani, why don't you
Oh,
stay
After
here?
Hours.
Yes, yes, yes. That one.
I always go back to that song too. She puts out so much music, and I always go back to After Hours.
Yeah, After Hours is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to change my answer for one of them.
Oh, which one?
Um, for the In Love.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead.
What did I say for that?
For In Love, you put Brown Eyes by Destiny's Child.
I want to say While We're Young by
Oh,
Janae.
Janae.
Mm-hmm.
Love that song. Okay, yeah. That's dope. We could put both Brown Eyes
Yeah.
and While We're Young. We'll keep both of them. This is your playlist. It's your world. What's a song that you feel has the best lyrics that you wish you wrote?
Ooh,
Like if you could have writer's credit on that song.
it'd have to be Hard Place. Oh my gosh, Hard Place by her. That song just brings me into a place that I didn't even know. Like she took the words out of my mouth.
Okay,
That's the kind of song I can relate to. So that one.
definitely. What's a song more people should know about? This you might need to
Oh,
see
this
it
one I'm gonna
online.
search up.
Yeah.
Um, I want to give two. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
Uh,
okay.
My Everything Live single by Jay Howell.
I love that song. I
Yes.
love that song. I got to tell him how obsessed I am. When
Really?
as I interviewed him, I'm like, I'm obsessed. And that song is on the album Red Room, and it's
Mm-hmm.
such a good album. Obsessed. Yeah.
10 out of 10. Like when I heard that for the first time, I was like, my face kind of went like, what is that?
The
So,
exact same thing because I had a playlist, and you know how after they keep playing songs that's similar to your playlist, and that
yep.
came on, and I was doing work at my laptop, and I was like, "What is that?" And then I just had it on repeat after, like I didn't want to hear anything else. So yeah, I'm
No.
with that song. That song's dope. Okay, what else?
Um, Beautiful by Molly Music.
Mm,
I don't know if you heard
mm-hmm,
that song before, but you gotta.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yes, these are all good choices. I love these songs.
Thank you. Wait, you
Yes,
know Beautiful by Molly
yes, I do.
Music?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we have Beautiful by Mally Music, and you had one more, I think.
No, I think it was My Everything and
And
Beautiful by
Beautiful.
Molly. Yeah, I have to leave it right there.
Okay, and then my last one is what's a song that reminds you of the summer?
Who?
Gives summer vibes. Or that you're playing now because it's hot outside.
I think it would be A Marie. A Marie One Thing.
Goes back to A. Marie's NPR Tiny Desk. They said she was
Yes.
the queen of summer, like how Mariah is the queen of Christmas. And I was like, I
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
that.
right? There's just like a vibe that comes with it.
Yeah, there's one thing, there's touch. Why don't we fall in love?
Yes.
All summer. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good one.
You gotta give it to her. You
Perfect.
gotta give it.
Okay. Thank you so much
But
for creating a playlist. I really do appreciate it. Let everybody know where we could follow you so we could keep up because you have shows coming up, you have new music that's coming out, and of course, Honey Jam's 30th anniversary, where people could buy tickets online or you could sponsor tickets as well.
yes, you can find me at Rachelle Show on all platforms, all streaming platforms, and social media. Um, Find me there.
Perfect. Rachelle, thank you so much again for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I really appreciate this. Hopefully we could do it again in person, so that we could leave the internet alone and all this technology crazy.
Yeah. Please. Please,
Definitely.
God.
So this is the Total R&B podcast. My name is Loreena, and you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at total.rnb, and I will be back with a brand new interview.